if seeing a scene on the text that you have sent last night makes you lose all the confidence that you have in your relationship instantly, and you go into this paradox of why they haven't replied, where they are at right now, or where this relationship is going, what's going to happen, don't they like me anymore? If this is a regular occurrence with you, stop here because we are going to debrief this. So, hi guys, if you don't know me, I'm Harshita and this is Loose Ends. On this platform, we talk about everything neurodivergence, and I have ADHD, and I've made it my life's mission to understand my own brain and to spread this awareness and self revelation to others like me. Let's get into this. Okay, so in last couple of videos, I talked about how being an ADHD person, was growing up in the education system and how we work around corporate life, deadlines, and stuff. So if you're interested in all of that, there is a playlist that you can check, that you can go and check on this channel. And today I'm going to talk about something a little bit more sensitive. I guess everything is sensitive when it's about your brain and emotions, but today we are going to talk about dating and relationships. So I don't know if I'm the perfect person to talk about it or the most perfect person to talk about this. Does this happens to you too, that you meet somebody and feel that this is the person for you, this is the person for your life soulmate, life partner, and you fixate on everything that they do? You want to meet them every single day, you want to go out with them, you want to meet their friends and want them to meet your friends, and you want to be like, and the other person is wow, the other person is on seventh cloud because they are like, oh my god, this person is so much interested in me and they want to spend so much time with me. The thing is that if you have ADHD, you might be doing this hyper focus thing in the beginning and then instantly will lose interest in coming up weeks and months. And this is like the most on the nose ADHD thing that I know and I've experienced is hyperfixation is not just about task, it's just not about projects and stuff, it's about people too, and it happens with friends, and it happens with, like, I do this with so many people. In, like, I used to, that I would meet them and I would be like, yeah, you are so cool, you are so nice, let's have dinner together, let's have lunch together, and then instantly after a few days I'll be like, oh my god. And that doesn't mean that it's only romantic relationship, it can happen in friendship too, and you would instantly lose your interest because you have, like, yeah, you're done, like, what's there new? I'll move on to new hyperfixation. So this is a very basic thing about ADHD, and this happens a lot. Like, I have friends who are experiencing this and they call it love bombing and stuff, and narcissistic people do this too. But the difference between somebody who has ADHD and somebody who is narcissistic, and you can figure out the differences, a ADHD person does not understand what they are doing. On the other hand, a narcissistic person calculatively plan, and they kind of aware about what is happening and what they are doing. On the other hand, a ADHD person is as clueless as you are, and there are ways to figure out. So, I do not want my bunch to get all the bad rap for being hyper focused. So, they take accountability. Like, narcissism has their own problems, but like, ADHD person are just curious and intuitive, and they want to learn more about you and your life, and their focus is to figure out in how many ways and facets they can understand you, which is kind of intriguing and interesting in the beginning, and you feel like, wow. But you need to understand that they are not doing this deliberately. Okay, so second is limerence. The second part of it, second part of being ADHD is, okay, let me explain this in simple term. Having a crush, or like having a very obsessive crush on somebody who either doesn't exist in the real world, or even if they do, that person doesn't needs to be reciprocating in any manner, or even be aware about what this ADHD person is going through. They would have their own, little fun with having a crush on somebody they don't know, or they know that, like, they won't have any plans to go out with them in future and stuff like that, and they would have this crush and be in this excessive pain of, like, lovesick fool. And the reason is very basic. If you understand, ADHD people craves intensity. They run on intensity because it's like normal things are not hitting them the way they should. So they would figure out stuff which feels intense. So I will go back and say ADHD people are very prone to be attracted and, like, be in relationship with narcissistic people. Like, that is the combo that goes for a long while. But limerence, in other terms, which is like being in love with somebody who doesn't love you back, is completely different. And it's like having a crush on a movie star, and then it's just not a crush. Like, you would just have this crush where you genuinely feel that you are in love with that person, and you would just do anything for that person. But the thing is that you don't have to know the human being to be in that kind of, pit. And you would feel that they are so, so much in pain, but actually that's their sweet spot. Feeling the intensity, listening to sad music. You have seen people, school mein aapne dekha hoga, ya even in your college you would see girls and boys who would be having this very intense crush on either their classmates, seniors, juniors, whatever, and they would write letters, poems. I used to do that a lot, and listen to very sad music, like very very sad music, and be in that kind of dread, because they might have ADHD and they might need it too. So give them a break. But sometimes these kind of feelings lean towards more self-destructive and harming, which should not be the case. So if you feel that you are in this kind of situation, I would really suggest to take a step back and understand what is the reason that you are having. Like, you don't even know the human being. The person can be a complete, what's the point? And understand where these emotions are coming from, because for you it looks like the end of the world, but in reality, does it have any effect on your life or not? Soch ke dekho. Okay. My favorite, our favorite, my absolute favorite, which I suffer from so much, is RST, rejection sensitive dysphoria. Okay, so, and it doesn't have to be romantic for me. Like, I go nuts and lose my shit over anything. Like, it can be a text to a coworker, or like a message to even my own sister. Like, I would send a text last night, and if it's seen and not replied, and I care about it, because there is this difference between, you care about certain text and certain replies, and then you don't care about certain text and certain replies. And ADHD people are notoriously infamous for not replying, or not texting back and stuff, because it feels like they don't even want to open it. That there's sometimes I see a text and I know what is it. In my heart I know what's it about, and I'm like, I'm just not mentally prepared to go through this right now, so I'm gonna open it in coming days. But whenever I send a text to somebody, or when I say I, it's interchangeable. When I say I, it's interchangeable with ADHD people. So when I send a text to somebody or reach out to some person, like I would call a friend, and if they haven't called me back in an evening or in a day, I'd be like, oh my god, there it is. They hate me. They hate me. And I do this with my own mother too. Like, I would call her, and if she won't pick up, but if my sister would call her and she because, like, oh my god, I knew you always hated me. So RST is a very big problem with ADHD people, and their brain will run all sorts of scenarios, and they will go with every possible version of that text that would come back to them. And the one thing that I learned in last couple of years, after COVID, I would say, when the phone connectivity and everything got so like on your out of your sight, because at that time when people were suffering from so much death, it did not matter. Like that was the time for me when I realized it's not about me if somebody is not texting back, and if somebody is busy and not calling you, or even not responding to you in a way that you would expect. 99% of the time it's not about you, but it took some time to learn that. And now whenever I am going down that road, I just take a step back and look at where I am, and I'm like, let's see, does it matter? Does that matter? No. The last one is what I will go to the first one. Like it is like it's coming to full circle. It's like love bombing, but not meaning to. It's so funny because it's like you would do that. Like ADHD people would meet you once and then would remember how you take your coffee and where do you live, which car do you drive, what's your wife's name, what's your children's name, and they do this unknowingly. Like I do this unknowingly. That's why maybe I'm so good at sales and stuff, because I remember things. So I do this, like I would meet somebody and I would have such genuine interest in their lives that they would be like, oh my God, she's so nice. But the thing is that you need to understand I'm not really interested in you. And it's not like a insult, or even it is not it's not demeaning in any way. It's like I'm not interested in you. Like you do not mean that much to me in my world. Is that it's new. Okay, so I kind of see I kind of see all these traits beyond the love angle, like hyperfocus and love bombing and RST and limerence and everything, because this is not just how we react in relationship and dating and love. This is how ADHD people interact with other people. So, but you know, there is nothing personal. Like there is nothing. The reason that I say this again and again, because I've spent a life trying to explain this to people, that I know it might seem that I'm doing something wrong here to you, or to keeping you in mind, and all that. But the thing is that I'm not, and I'm sorry, because it's not a justification. It's just that it will take me a little bit more time to understand me, because I've grown up in a system where my tantrums and my brain and what my inclinations are and were never debriefed and like understood or even explained to me by my parents or by the other like teaching figure that you see in school and stuff. So I've grown up figuring this out myself, you know so it's not a justification, it's an explanation. That's what I mean to say. Okay.